When I booted up to record today's episode, I had an epiphany, a revelation of sorts, a means to make it so Scorchstone Hellion probably isn't gonna kill us. What's going on, everybody? It's Rev, and welcome back to another Dauntless video. You guys voted, and it was no question y'all want to do the Farslayer's Apprentice. And so that's what we're gonna do. This video is going to be a lot of farming. We have a job ahead of us to prepare us for this quest. Scorchstone Hellion, in my opinion, is probably top 3 most difficult fights in Dauntless. And so I have a plan, and that plan is going to be untouched by RNG. Everybody that is watching this video will be able to at least up their odds of completing the hunt. We're prepared. Now, what I want to do, we have 2 hunts with Scorchstone Hellion required for this quest, and I know that's the fight that everybody wants to know the secrets about. So without further ado, what I'm going to do today is we're going to do frost patrols and blaze patrols to I want to get a Boreus axe, but I also want to upgrade some of the Firebrand Charog armor as well as the Embermane armor. In the last video, I'm eating my own words. I said, you know, the Embermane armor is pretty unnotable, and we're gonna be crafting up some Embermane gear. I think that I was wrong, and I think that new players are going to benefit greatly from a particular piece. And once we get everything together, it's gonna make a lot more sense. And so what we're doing is we're just farming up to increase the odds to complete Scorchstone Hellion, whether it be solo, whether it's in a group. You are going to be a very strong link in the chain if you're playing in a group, and give you the best odds for soloing if that's what you're inclined to do. We did get Pangar. I could have done the side quests for the lantern, the Pangar lantern, which is very good. And actually, and now that I'm thinking about it, if I do get Pangar again, I'm definitely going to do that. The Pangar lantern is going to assist at taking out Scorchstone Hellion. It is not at all mandatory. Use your favorite lantern, whatever you enjoy. But now that I'm thinking about it, I do think that the Pangar lantern will probably be a nice little ally. We haven't really unlocked many of the lanterns. I'm just enjoying the Shrike lantern, to be honest. But today I'm just going to be doing my thing on the sword, and we're going to get a little farming done, because we've been neglecting our stores of mats. Been neglecting the patrols. We got, you know, the escalation stuff. We've gotten a lot. We've gotten a lot. We've gotten a lot from our quests. You know, a lot of orbs from the quest. A lot of mats from escalation. You might have been farming, you know, if you're not following along with this, you might even be ahead of me. Going for the leg here. Just wait. I'm just waiting for it to break, because once it breaks, it's dead. That's probably not wise. I'll probably go for the tail. Missing out on a little bit of damage there, but same strategy that we've always employed on Pangar, going for the leg, breaking something. Nothing too out of the ordinary. We do have Overpower and Rage Hunter right now procced. It should be dead here any moment. There we go. Dead Pangar. Poor Pangar. Once upon a time, Pangar did not fall over when you broke its legs. It did a little stumble, but it did not fall over like that. And alas, the Titan has fallen down quite a bit. All right, 23 frost orbs, not bad. We have a lot of daily patrol chests stocked up just because of we haven't been running those patrols. So, you know, even if you're not patrolling, maybe you're doing escalation, maybe you're having fun doing something else, maybe you're not even playing Dauntless right now. If you are still accumulating patrol chests, so when you do come back, when you do come back, that's gonna be there for you. We're just gonna keep seeing how far we can go. We definitely need more. More. Always more. Many orbs. If we get Pangar again, I should probably procure a neutral weapon. Neutral weapons. Definitely gonna need neutral orbs for that. Maybe we make Shrike. Gonna need neutral orbs for that as well. Just crafting up some of the weapons that I might not have picked up for the extra mastery. Remember that mastery is still very important, but as of right now, I'm not too worried about leveling up, because in the previous episode I mentioned this as well, is like we haven't really been hitting a roadblock, which is fine. It's very good actually, because Dauntless in the earlier stages had that issue where players were not able to progress in the quest line because they couldn't level up their gear properly. And I think for the most part, mastery is pretty straightforward now. It's a little bit more easier to sink your teeth into. I have an entire video on mastery and the best and most effective ways to level it up. And yeah, so check that out if you're so inclined, if you still have questions about mastery at this point in the game. We did get Scrave. Scrave should be a pretty easy target. And after this, we should be at like, what, a +5 maybe, Boreus Axe? We'll see. We'll see where we're at. We might even need to go pursue Red Frost Boreus. But what I want to do for the Scorchstone Hellion is play with the slow weapon, which will probably be the axe or the hammer, but most likely the axe. Just because that's what we're crafting up first. I definitely ran the wrong direction here. That is unlucky. We will have to grab some of these Aether Wisps to speed us up. Should be off on the left. I didn't see it when I was running by. I always am kind of scanning the map. That's something that you can do. This map is typically pretty easy to see the behemoths. Once you land, you look to the left, you should be able to see it, but I must not have. Now, we haven't fought Scrave in a while, and we actually fought Winterhorn Scrave, the dire version of Scrave, in Escalation. It was one of our last hunts. Not much of a threat in this version to us anymore, but Winterhorn Scrave will be. Scrave is a very fragile behemoth. Not as fragile as, say, like Karabac or Riftstalker, but still, the part breaks and HP pool are pretty tiny. Unique to Scrave and some other behemoths, the Aether form actually cannot be triggered if you cut the horns, and that in this is the dire version. I mean, the Aether form I don't think exists on the normal Scrave. If it does, I haven't seen it. But regardless, Winterhorn Scrave, if you cut the horns, it won't be able to go Aether form, and that means you won't be able to get the whiteout orbs, aka a white screen. It's a really annoying mechanic, and it just looks like a blizzard, but your screen just gets entirely flushed with white, and you need to kill the orb that is causing it. But if you focus the face and cut the horns, you won't have to deal with it. This should be a dead scrave, honestly. I want to get one more break. There we go. I'm still fishing for those breaks. I don't think... Oh, wow. Never mind. Try and cut the tail. It's the last break. Yeah, I wasn't expecting to get it, but that's all right. Pretty straightforward fight. At this point, we're pretty, like, we're overpowering these frost behemoths. And that's why I don't really mind filming this for this episode, because it's not going to take very long. Here we go. We got another 26 orbs. That's very nice. We had a little bit of leftover from when we were crafting. And so I'm thinking that quite possibly, depending on if we have enough Boreus mats, we might be good to go with that. And then we'll do some blaze patrols. I'm pretty excited because I think this strategy is going to really help new players. Let's see, we're good there, we're good there. We did have enough. That's nice. We're at +6. Let's go for +7. Let us go for +7. I believe that is the strat. I want to solidify good hunting habits. Upgrade all of your stuff. If you're using a weapon, if you really enjoy a weapon, make sure it's, you know, maxed out before you take on the next set of challenges. One thing I didn't do, actually, that we're going to do right now is pick up the one and only for the 47th. This is where we get concussive grenades finally. 3 shock jaws, 3 dead eyes. Little bit of a rough quest, but I think we're up to the task. So right when you unlock Scorchstone Hellion is also when you unlock the concussive grenade, which is probably the best grenade in the game, in my opinion. I don't really use grenades too much. I use them for the bounties, but other than that, you know, if you like them, then you like them. But all right, we got Pangar, but we don't really have a neutral weapon, and so I'm probably gonna just bypass it because I don't want to take too long. Oh, we're missing a cell. We have a cunning cell. Anything? Cunning. We have a chance to crit. I mean, this does next to nothing. 2%. 2%. Let's see if we have anything a little bit more damaging. 2 evasive fury. Sure, why not? A little bit of attack speed never hurt anyone. I'll take that over 2% crit. I don't know what I was thinking there. It's like, do we have a cunning? Cunning outside of escalation currently, there are a lot of buffs and escalation in the talent tree that will help you out significantly, but cunning itself on its own is not very good for everyday play. Just as a fun fact, but so I should reiterate, the cunning is good if you cannot play with Predator. Predator is going to give you a marginally larger damage buff, but cunning is always active, and Predator has prerequisites that can make it so it's not active. So there's kind of a little bit of a gap if you like playing with cunning. It is passive damage, it is always on, but it's typically kind of an afterthought where it's just like, okay, I don't know how I can squeeze more damage out of this build. This is stuff that you don't really need to worry about as a player that hasn't finished the quest line, but just as a little food for thought and conversation. Going for the legs here, pretty straightforward. You know, we fought Pangar quite a bit. Notice how I'm getting absolutely destroyed. It might roll back again. If it does, I'm going to be ready for the interrupt. I have no stamina. Rest in peace. Just softening up the head a little bit when it gets overpowered, or when it gets interrupted there, because it primes the KO, and then I can still work on the legs without feeling like I'm going to stacking, like, this is actually something that I haven't gone over. If something, let's say Pangar gets KO'd and neither of the legs is broken, just like how it was. But what I did is I triggered the KO via hitting the legs, because you can hit the legs or you can hit the face. You don't want to stack, because this is probably going to break now. So yeah, and it's going to get up immediately, right? Like that's actually the prime example. You break something and you're about to KO. And so you actually lose out on the KO, because it should be on the ground like this. But instead I broke the face, which just made it like stumble back a little bit. And so I actually missed out on a lot of damage there, because Pangar wasn't on the ground for 9 years. And we want those overpower windows. So think about what's going to happen. You know, hey, this KO is very close to happening. If I break the leg now, it might get KO'd and the break at the same time, right? And it might get a little rough. This is Pangar's Aether form, by the way. Creates more ice pillars. It gets a new move that's like a ice breath. It might do it here. That was fast. That was a fast Aether form. But it gets a few new moves, and when it does its like rolls and other attacks, it will create these like ice spikes. It makes like a wave. It's kind of weird. It's hard to explain. You might have seen it. Another 26 orbs. Again, pretty fast kills. Hellion and Overpower put in a lot of work on Pangar. As long as you get, you know, you can get the interrupt, you can start the hunt off with a very clean start. Chainblades really excel at that. As a fun fact, you could Grim Onslaught if you're using the axe. I know a lot of the axe boys and girls are in the comment section. What's good? Boreus axe. Here we go. +7 Boreus axe. And we'll throw the excess into a starting a Boreus hammer for all the hammer bros and sisters. I think we're good. Let's move onward. Now, I mentioned that Embermane armor is not very good. I am going back on my word, and what we're gonna do is start crafting the Embermane gloves. And what we're looking for is that fireproof. And so the main contenders here are your Embermane gloves and your Firebrand helmet, or your Charog helmet, Volcanic Helm. Both of these have fireproof, and at the very least, even if you don't have any fireproof cells, you somehow have not gotten any at all, you will be reducing the amount of fire damage that you take from Scorchstone Hellion's plentiful fire by 60%. Those are two pieces that I highly recommend crafting, and we're gonna actually run that in our first couple of hunts. And I'll explain my reasoning once we get a little bit closer to that. So we need blaze patrols. We have the most bomb ice weapon ready to go. I'm going to throw on 3 overpower. We actually have a +2 fireproof cell, but I'm actually going to not bring it because I want to see how I fare with fireproof 4. I'm going to put the build to the test. And if you're, you know, this is kind of extra credit. If you want, say you have some fireproof cells, maybe you have a stack, but you really don't, you have 2 defense, you know, 2+1s. Throw those 2+1s in the cell vendor and make it a +2, because that is the most optimal. If you have a +2 fireproof and the +4, and +6 fireproof is going to make you immune to fire, so you can just go wherever you please, which is very, very good. We did get Hellion. Let's take the axe for a spin. Take the axe for a spin. I'm feeling it. It's one of the nice things about this. Another extra credit cell would be if you have whatever, you know, the highest level tough cell. We're gonna be rocking tough, fireproof, and hopefully some overpower. And that's honestly all we're gonna need on top of our +7 ice weapon. But if you don't have any overpower, Rage Hunter is good, and you'll see the build here coming together in just a mo. Let's see, Hellion, probably gonna be front and center, perhaps. No, doesn't seem that way. It's probably all in the way in the back then. But yes, thank you guys for leaving the, you know, what you guys want to do for the gameplay or the playthrough in the comments. It's been lovely hearing all of your feedback, and nothing warms my heart more than, you know, seeing your work be appreciated, or like, you know, seeing my work be appreciated. I see a lot of people saying that they're coming back to Dauntless after watching the playthrough, and that makes me really happy. Dauntless is a good game. It just needs a little bit more time, in my opinion. You know, it's one of those games that was designed to be picked up and put down once the seasonal content was brought in. And you know, with this seasonal content, I was just like, hey, I'll do a playthrough of the new game mode, new quest line. Grim Onslaught his face, get the KO, probably cut the tail here. Now, I actually caught the Grim, and that's what triggered my determination stack to level up. That was kind of really inefficient. It was really inefficient. Try to avoid that with the axe. You want to level up, you want to kind of save it for the level ups, but if you have significant openings where you can get in a Grim Onslaught and it will be back by the time you level it up, that's something that you're just gonna have to learn as an axe player. You'll feel it out as you learn the fights and how much time you're gonna have to level up. Like right now, I'm at 50% debt and I have the ability to throw my axe. I could throw it on cooldown, but I'm actually gonna opt to wait. I'm gonna pick up some of this, get some attack speed. Yeah, okay, you're donezo. You are so done. Got the KO there. That leg is still available. I'm actually charging. Notice how I side swapped without even doing anything there. I was positioning myself right here, so when Hellion stands up, I'm gonna be on its opposite end, and I'll just stand here and wait for it to get up. So you could just side swap like that, right? Just move under and you're good. Axe is all about positioning. Axe is all about the positioning. Should be dead any moment. Roll the enrage, but I'm bad. I love when I say things are gonna happen and then it just straight up doesn't do it. That's my favorite. But hey, that was a fast hunt. That was fun. Just rocking Hellions, rocking Scraves, rocking Pangars. Pretty it's fun, and you'll be able to level up very quick once you get to this point in the game, and the armor and the weapons start coming together. You get those +7s, you get those +10s. You're gonna be coming back, and we'll just be skyrocketing in the levels. Get caught up, more or less, right? Getting caught up, getting everything squared away so you can get to that +15 relatively easily, if that's what you're so inclined to do. It's not mandatory. I don't know why I went to Will's. We need to go to Moira and check on our... This is going to take a little less time, I imagine, as long as I have the parts to upgrade a +6 gloves and helm, which we should, because I haven't really... Yeah, so that's in the hole. We might need to do one more Blaze Patrol. It just seems like we do. We have everything that we need, and we just need to do one more Blaze Patrol. Nice. We have all the Bloodfire and Firebrand parts that we needed, because we actually didn't craft any of those weapons up, rather. So that's very good. And once we get this crafted up, we'll dedicate pretty much an entire episode to Scorchstone Hellion, so you guys can really get it solidified. And this is more of just a prep. And then we'll talk about, let's see who's at, I believe it's Frostback and Caraback as well in this quest, which can be a nuisance, and that's probably going to require a little bit of shock patrolling, because we're fighting Scorchstone to be able to really take out Frostback. Frostback's not going to be nearly as big of an issue as Scorchstone, so that's why we're starting with it. And then with the destruction of Pangar, we'll take on Caraback, which will be kind of like its separate thing, because we need to do some shock patrols to get caught up there. Personally, you may not, which is totally fine, but I definitely need to, because I am very, very far behind. We got Charog. I'm gonna cut this boy up. What I really want, what I really, really want, I'll tell you what I want. Is more conditioning, but I don't have any. Did we level up? Oh, baby. Okay, so if you are, I believe it's level 10, Sword Mastery, got Reactive Hilt. This is the best in slot mod pre-trials game mode. So like pre-completing of the quest line, this is the best sword mod if you're a sword player. As a fun fact. I don't really need any of these. I can probably just send it. I'm kind of just wasting time at this point. I should just be killing Charog, getting it over with, and then onward and upward to the Scorchstone. And we fought Charog. It's, you know, pretty straightforward. The Firebrand and Charog fight, some of the easiest in the game, honestly. The fight is completely countered by Fireproof. In my opinion, the only real hard part about it is not getting hit by meatballs, because the meatballs hurt really bad in higher difficulties. And also in higher difficulties, knowing how to wound will definitely benefit you. Strikers and Warpike are very good at that, and that is due to a modifier called Thick Hide. Thick Hide reduces damage taken to the behemoth, but if you wound it, it takes 300% damage. And then once you break that wound, the Thick Hide goes away, and then it's just like fighting a normal behemoth body. So that's a fun fact. We'll go over that as we get into the heroic modifiers, and that's honestly what you're basically fighting: a dire behemoth that is a little bit stronger, and also the addition. That was a meatball right there that almost clocked me. Roll this body swipe or whatever that is. Slide. Roll the slide. It's a KO. I don't want to break anything, so I'm actually going to just go for the face here. Dump all the damage there. And then once it gets up, I'm going to swap to the leg and break it. And then it's back on the ground. And now I'm going to go for the head, do it again, and it's on the ground. And these are really soft here in the shoulder. Going to break that, do it again. This is all overpower proc, right? This is the power of, you know, priming breaks, as I call it. And it's a little bit more of an advanced tactic, but hopefully I've set you up with the idea of, hey, we're going to keep going for part breaks, because we all like part breaks. We all like getting loot, but we also like killing fast and efficient. I want that back leg. I'm going for it. And then I'm going for the tail. I have no stamina. Big crit. Big crit there. And so what Reactive Hilt does is make it so my rolling attacks, every time I go like this or anytime I go like this, it's always going to crit 100% of the time, which is a lot of extra supplementary damage because the sword rolls a ton, at least at higher levels of play. Until you get Avenging Overdrive, at least. But you roll a lot, especially if you can dodge really well. Let's see, we got 20 blaze orbs, a whole bunch of loot, and we're working on some of our bounties. Make sure you're doing your bounties. Make sure you've done your daily login stuff. Get your hunt pass, get your daily login core. Maybe there's a fireproof in there. Maybe it's the last one you need to make it +2. Maybe there's some ace chips that you can speed up some cells. Some cell production. We're using all of our resources. Always, always, always. Running on over to Moira, we're going to upgrade those gloves to +7. +7, and we are prepared. So here's the scoop. Here is the scoop. We have our +7 helmet. We have a glove that has +2 fireproof as well. Looking at this, we have 5 overpower and we have 4 fireproof. This is kind of like, I want to say it's like the bare minimum, but it's definitely not the bare minimum. I would even wager that like maybe just a little bit of Rage Hunter would be nice if you can spare it. After upgrading the gloves and the helmet, I realized that my Gnasher Cloak and my Gnasher Treads are only +5, and that's going to be an issue for my plan. And so we're going to run a little bit longer today. And we're going to pursue Rage Tail Gnasher. And hopefully, we'll run it once. If we don't get both, we'll just run with what we have. But if we get +7 across the board, that would be ideal. And I think that this is going to be a good template for a brand new player who's never fought Scorchstone before. Now, the dire version of Scorchstone isn't the hardest version, but this set is going to prepare you for like the heroic plus version, if you're so inclined. If you want to graduate to the molten version of these armors, then we're good. I'm actually running in the wrong gear. I forgot to unequip it and fight Rage Tail, but that's all right. We'll be all right. We still have some overpower, and that's more than enough damage. We'll see what our damage output is looking like. We'll give it a test run. At least we're tanky. Kind of beefed it. Got a little flustered because I was like, oh man, I'm still not prepared even after doing so many patrols. And turns out I needed to do some Rage Tail, so threw me for a loop a little bit, but we're good. We need to break as much as possible because it's just a random chance, the piece that we need from Rage Tail. So just, we're gonna do our thing. I'm gonna ignore the tail actually, and the reason for that is because the HP on the tail is the highest HP part, and you end up just resulting in less parts overall if you go for the tail. So I'm going for volume instead of particular parts. Got some nice hits there on the arm, even though that's pretty hard to hit. Rolling through the shockwave there. Wasn't able to get the style boot. And it's do its thing. Rolling backwards on that tail swing, because it can swing back around and hit you. Hopefully get this KO. Yep. Got it frozen too, so this is a longer overpower period. And this entire right side is probably pretty beat up at this point. I'm out. I'm gonna let it walk up to me. This cancels Rage Tail's ability to just do tail slams. If you're out of range, it will just walk up to you and fight you like normal. That's a really big tip. But it's really hard to do with public parties. Not a lot of people care enough to do that. Going for that arm. Nice, we got that onto the other side. Whoops, a little overshot there. Need what I need is the face break, I think. Okay, is the enraging? It's at about half life. Hopefully I don't get the break with the KO, so I'm actually ignoring the head right now. I think that was delay. Yes, it was. Okay, face next. Nice, broke it out of the enrage. Going for this arm here. It's 6 breaks if we can get this arm. Nice. That was so risky, but yeah. Hey, that was a little pat on the back for me there. Got that little jump in, jump up, hit it, break it, kill it. All right. All right. That was pretty hype. That was pretty hype. I like that. All right. Let's see what we got. All right. 4. The Furious Rage Scales is what we needed. We got 4. Tons of breaks. And we actually didn't take damage. Nice. So we got a little bit of mastery there. All right, we're looking pretty good. That was a good hunt. Close it out with the bang. Gonna upgrade our chest and boots, and then we'll put the build together. And then next episode, we got that Scorch Zone set, all set up. And that just kind of goes to show the power of Overpower, because that was our only damage cell. Excuse me, I have the hiccups now. That just goes to show the power of a cell like Overpower. And I need neutral orbs. I'm so upset. I'm so upset. We're gonna conclude the episode here. Never lucky. We're gonna conclude the episode here. I'm gonna get those neutral orbs off video, and we'll just say, hey, we have +7 everything, and then we'll put it all together at the beginning of the next video. Anyway, thank you guys so very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this little ramshackled video. It's a little Frankenstein together, but hey, what can you do? We're doing it all in real time. I have a lot of different armors and weapons to cover, so anyway, we'll continue on in the next video. Thank you guys again so much for watching. If you like this video, please leave a like. If you want to support the channel, you can subscribe and use creator code RevvyRad in the Dauntless in-game store. I stream at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. You can follow the stream there in the description, whatever it's called. And thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you on the Shattered Isles.